Start.
Hi, welcome back to the podcast where we delve into cybersecurity concepts. Today we'll be meeting Vandana Verma Sehgal into the world of Snake. Hi, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Absolutely fine, ma'am. Thank you so much for showing us your presence today. So, ma'am, how are you feeling? How do you feel about cybersecurity? How do you deal with it living into the world of cybersecurity since so many years, ma'am?
When it comes to cybersecurity, it is something which is very prominent part of my life because I started my career in development, but then just within a few years, I moved to cybersecurity, and this is something which has taught me a lot. I've grown in this space, so there's so much to learn every day. There's something new which is coming up, and it's one thing wherein when we say that change is the constant thing. Similarly, in cybersecurity, changes are happening and we're learning from them, whether it's application security, whether it's cloud security, IoT, and now we're talking about AI. So, AI security. And it has taught me a lot and shaped my career. And I'm sure my peers in the industry would also agree to the same thing, wherein they share the knowledge, they learn from other leaders. So, cybersecurity is something where you just keep growing, keep learning, and you would never get bored out of it.
Absolutely, ma'am. Looks wonderful. Ma'am, so many years in cybersecurity. Can you just give us a little glimpse, like how did you start and कहाँ से interest आया इस field में कि cyber security करनी है? And because as far we know that there are less women in this space, so कहाँ से interest आया? Like if you would like to give that glimpse to the audience.
Sure. So back then, when I started my career, it was not a full-fledged thing wherein people say that I want to move to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity was still a very, very hidden part of the IT. And
Hmm.
I was asked to be in this project of cybersecurity and told that you have to do it because the other project was getting over and I didn't want it to be on bench. But I think when we say serendipity, that was something which happened to me. And it was the best thing wherein I got introduced to cybersecurity, learned the basics of it, learned what is network security, and then
Hmm.
different parts of application security, DevSecOps, and even I would say that as my career progressed, I became more involved in the communities. So OWASP is one community which is very special to me, and where I've served as a global board of directors as well. So this space in cybersecurity actually made a lot of difference in my career. And when you say I started as a network security person, and I've come a long way wherein I can say that I'm part of product security. So over the years, it's different roles that I've taken up in the same space, but it's a lot of learning.
Ma'am, that's a huge role. Like I myself, I'm inspired at the moment right now. Big fan. So, ma'am, when we talk about application security specifically, so people do get puzzled. Like they like, what is application security? So, can you just give a little glimpse of exactly क्या होता है application security? कैसे work करता है किसी भी system में?
एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी, अगर मैं बोलूँ सिंपल वर्ड्स में, तो किसी भी एप्लीकेशन, चाहे वो फेसबुक, गूगल, जीमेल, इंस्टाग्राम, कोई भी एप्लीकेशन ले लो, जो हम ब्राउज करते हैं ब्राउजर के थ्रू, क्रोम, फायरफॉक्स, वो हो गई वेब बेस्ड एप्लीकेशंस। और ऐसे ही सेम उनका ऐप होता है मोबाइल में, तो वो होता है मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन। तो मोबाइल ऐप भी बोलते हैं हम उसे, ऐप इज
Hmm.
so anything where we can actually attach security to it, it becomes application security, starting with हम सोचते हैं कि कैसे डेवलप करें ऐप। ओ, मुझे अपनी वेबसाइट बनानी है, तो सोचना
Hmm.
पड़ेगा कि कौन सी लैंग्वेज यूज करें, कहाँ पे होस्ट होगी। अब तो बहुत इजी हो गया है बिकॉज हम कहीं से भी कोड पिक कर सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल फॉर वर्डप्रेस गिव्स यू द प्लेटफॉर्म, और वहां पे आप डिफरेंट डिफरेंट एक्सटेंशन ले सकते हो और आप अपनी वेबसाइट बिल्ड कर सकते हो।
Hmm.
मुश्किल से एक दिन में आप पूरा का पूरा वेबसाइट रेडी करके पब्लिश कर सकते हो। तो अब बहुत इजी हो गया है। ठीक है, तो अब बना दी वेबसाइट, व्हाट नेक्स्ट? For organizations or companies, ये इतना आसान नहीं है। उनको पहले फीचर्स सोचने होते हैं, क्या क्या फीचर्स होंगे, कैसे होगा, क्लाइंट को डिलीवरी कैसे होगी। तो उस पूरे फेज में सबसे पहले हमने डिजाइन डॉक्यूमेंट बनाया। तो डिजाइन डॉक्यूमेंट के वक्त डिजाइन रिव्यूज होते हैं फ्रॉम सिक्योरिटी स्टैंड पॉइंट। उसके बाद थ्रेट मॉडलिंग होती है, कौन कौन से थ्रेट्स हो सकते हैं। सो थ्रेट मॉडलिंग इज इक्वली इम्पॉर्टेंट। उसके बाद जब थ्रेट मॉडलिंग हो गई, हमने थ्रेट्स देख लिए कि इस डिज़ाइन में हमें ऑथेंटिकेशन भी चाहिए, जहाँ पे यूजर नेम पासवर्ड होना चाहिए और यूजर नेम पासवर्ड सिक्योरली जाना चाहिए। तो टीएलएस या एसएसएल भी एनेबल होना चाहिए। उसके बाद पासवर्ड कितने कैरेक्टर्स का होना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं कि कोई भी आ जाए। तो वो सारे की सारे डिजाइन डॉक्यूमेंट्स में हो गए। उसके बाद जब वो हो जाता है, तब आता है कोड रिव्यू का, कोड का पार्ट, कि कोई डेवलपर कोड लिख रहा है या ओपन सोर्स कोड को यूज कर रहा है, उसको कैसे सिक्योर करेंगे। वो भी एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी का पार्ट है। इंटरेस्टिंगली जब कोड बन जाता है, उसके बाद आपको वेबसाइट दिखनी तो चाहिए कैसी होती है। तो जो
हम्म।
उस पे भी टेस्टिंग होती है, जिसे हम क्यूए टेस्टिंग कहते हैं, और साथ में सिक्योरिटी टेस्टिंग भी होती है उस पे।
ओके।
यहाँ दो डेवलपर और सिक्योरिटी टीम साथ में काम कर रहे हैं। तभी अब बोलते हैं कि डेव सेक ऑप्स की ऑपरेशंस टीम, डेवलपमेंट टीम और सिक्योरिटी टीम साथ में काम करते हैं। ये
हम्म।
जब प्रोडक्शन पे जाती है वेबसाइट, या जब सारे यूजर्स चेक करते हैं, जैसे facebook.com पे कभी भी आप लॉगिन करते हो, लिंक्डइन पे आप लॉगिन करते हो, तो आप देख सकते हो कि क्या क्या हो रहा है। तो उसमें भी कुछ ना कुछ इश्यूज तो होंगे ना। तो वो इश्यूज को फिगर आउट करना इज एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी। और सिमिलरली मोबाइल में मोबाइल एप्स की सिक्योरिटी, मोबाइल डिवाइस की सिक्योरिटी इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ इट।
सो मैम आपने अभी एक डेव सेक ऑप्स का आई थिंक नाम लिया है।
हम्म।
ये एग्जैक्टली क्या होता है एंड एग्जैक्टली ये कैसे फंक्शन करता है किसी भी सिस्टम में इफ यू टॉक अबाउट इट?
सी, ये सिस्टम में काम नहीं करेगा। ये खुद एक सिस्टम होता है एक्चुअली। बिकॉज यहाँ पे हम हर हर चीज को, एप्लीकेशन की जहाँ डेवलपमेंट डिजाइन से लेकर प्रोडक्शन तक जाने में जो कनेक्ट करते हैं, एंड वी मेक श्योर कि सिक्योरिटी हर फेज में हो। अगर कोई इशू
हम्म।
हो तो पाइपलाइन ब्रेक हो, या हमें अलर्ट करें कि इशू है। तो डेवसेकऑप्स इन सिंपल टर्म्स वेयर इन हम डेवलपमेंट के हर फेज में, जब तक वेबसाइट लाइव नहीं होती, तब तक सिक्योरिटी ऐड कर रहे हैं, कोई भी चीज हो उसमें ऐड कर रहे हैं। दिस इन सिंपल वर्ड्स इज डेवसेकऑप्स।
That's amazing. So is this related to vulnerability management as well? Like when we talk about, जैसे
करेक्ट।
आपने कहा ये खुद एक सिस्टम होता है। तो
करेक्ट।
ऐसा आपको एक रियल लाइफ लाइक आप इतने एक्सपीरियंस्ड आप इतने सीनियर हो तो आपको एक रियल लाइफ एग्जांपल बताओगे where you were managing something like this and it was a big turmoil situation एकदम से आ गई and you had to face it if you could just share it with the audience.
Sure. In 2017, actually, there was a vulnerability in Apache older version, Apache 2 dot something version, that was actually giving attackers remote access to the system. So they could play
Oh.
around with it. So, or I would say more than remote access, but remote code execution. So if I am an attacker, I'll be able to execute my code on your server so that I can get as much as information.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2017, this was a big issue for a lot of organizations. Apache said that we have seen that there is a big vulnerability or a critical vulnerability in this particular version, and we will be updating it soon. They said it in
Mm-hmm.
February. In March, they released a patch कि हाँ चलो fix करते हैं. उसके बाद
Oh, ma'am, just for the common audience, what's a patch?
पैच इज समथिंग, इट्स एन अपडेट। इन सिंपल वर्ड्स अपडेट। जब हमारे फोन में कुछ सिक्योरिटी फ्लॉ होता है, तो हमारे तो जैसे iOS या एंड्रॉयड है, तो एक
Mm-hmm.
अपडेट आता है ना, सिमिलरली पैच जाता है कि वो
Okay.
सिस्टम अपडेट हो सके।
Okay.
चाहे वो सर्वर हो, चाहे वो एप्लीकेशन हो, वो अपडेट हो सके। अगर कोई वर्जन पुराना यूज कर रही है, तो वो अपडेट हो सके।
Okay, sounds perfect, ma'am. Ma'am, when we talk about application security, like in specific, so challenges क्या आते हैं किसी भी example मेरी खुद की एक organization है, for example, and application securities of course वहाँ पे भी function होती है कुछ कुछ devices में. How will I manage that as an entrepreneur or as anybody who's being, correlated to that role? So how will they manage it?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, जब भी बात है entrepreneurship or any further application, the most important thing to remember is that we need security at all times. because we can't
Hmm.
take a chance on that. Anyone can get into
Hmm.
our system and it's like आपके घर में चार दरवाजे हैं और चार खिड़कियां हैं। एक खिड़की जो हमारी एटिक पे होती है, मोस्टली हाउसेस में मैंने देखा है कि एटिक
Hmm.
तो कहीं ना कहीं होती है पुराने हाउसेस में। तो
Yes,
उसका
ma'am.
डोर उसका उस विंडो का डोर हमने बंद नहीं किया जब हम बाहर जा रहे हैं घूमने। अब अटैकर क्या करता है, ढूंढता है कि कहाँ कहाँ से घुस सकते हैं। तो अटैकर एंटर करता है उस वाले विंडो से,
Hmm. Hmm.
मुझे ध्यान भी नहीं था। ऐसे ही एप्लीकेशन में बहुत सारे एंट्री पॉइंट्स होते हैं। जैसे अब बैंक की वेबसाइट लेते हैं। बैंक की वेबसाइट में सबसे पहले क्या होता है, आपको यूजर नेम पासवर्ड प्रोवाइड करना होता है और एक
Hmm. Hmm.
ऑथेंटिकेशन होता है, ठीक है, ओटीपी। अब अगर ओटीपी की जगह फॉर एग्जांपल कोई ऑथेंटिकेटर यूज किया हुआ है और जिसमें पुश कर सकते हैं रिक्वेस्ट, और
Hmm.
वो जो फोन है इंस्टेड ऑफ लेजिटिमेट यूजर, अब वो अटैकर के पास है।
Hmm.
तो
Hmm.
आपको यूजर नेम पासवर्ड तो इजीली मिल जाएगा। कैसे?
Hmm.
क्योंकि डम्प्स अवेलेबल है। पर वो ऑथेंटिकेटर आपको कैसे मिलेगा, वो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है। अगर वो भी
Hmm.
मिल जाता है देन यू आर गुड टू गो। सिमिलरली अभी पहले क्या होता था कि पहले सिर्फ यूजर नेम पासवर्ड से ही सारी दुनिया चलती थी। अब
Hmm.
मल्टी फैक्टर ऑथेंटिकेशन की इसीलिए बात की जाती है कि समथिंग विच यू आर, let's say it can be authenticator, can be your iris, can be your biometrics। अभी हम आधार की बात करते हैं। आधार ऑथेंटिकेशन क्यों होता है कि मोबाइल ओटीपी से भी होगा, और फिर जब आपको कुछ चेंज कराना है तो वो आपको फिंगरप्रिंट्स ही देने पड़ेंगे।
हाँ जी मैम।
तो
हम्म।
किसी को बिकॉज और कोई जाके करा नहीं सकता, वरना
हम्म।
कोई मेरे हस्बैंड जाके या कोई मेरी फैमिली मेंबर जाके चेंज करा ले, क्या मैटर, मेरे पेरेंट्स जाके चेंज
एब्सोल्युटली।
करा ले। तो वो बेसिक चीजें होती हैं जो एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को चाहिए होती है। अब ये तो एक एंट्री पॉइंट हो गया। कहीं
हम्म।
एपीआई होती हैं। एपीआई क्या होती हैं कि छोटी छोटी मिनी एप्स बोल सकते हो, या कुछ ऐसे स्क्रिप्ट्स होती हैं जो वेबसाइट पे रन होती हैं, जो डेटा पुल करती हैं, जिनका
हम्म।
डिफाइंड फंक्शन होता है। तो उन्हें एपीआई बोलती हैं, जो एक ऐप को दूसरी ऐप से कनेक्ट भी करती हैं। तो उसे बोलते हैं एप्लीकेशन प्रोग्रामिंग इंटरफेस। तो जब हम उनसे
ओके।
कनेक्ट करते हैं ना, कई एपीआईज में ओपन एंड पॉइंट्स होते हैं, या कई
हम्म।
ऑथेंटिकेटेड एपीआईज होती हैं जहां से डेटा तो निकल रहा है पर वो प्रॉपरली ऑथेंटिकेटेड नहीं है, तो कोई भी आके उससे डेटा फेच कर सकता है। तो बहुत सारी ऐसी स्मॉल स्मॉल चीजें होती है जो एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी में केटर करती है। बट एंट्री पॉइंट से स्टार्ट करते हैं, क्योंकि वैलिडेशन इज समथिंग विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। और जब हम एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी की बात करते हैं तो मैं ओवास्प को जरूर पिच करती हूँ, क्योंकि
हम्म।
ओवास्प जो है बहुत बड़ी कम्युनिटी है, जिसमें बहुत सारे रिसर्चर्स ने, कंट्रीब्यूटर्स ने कंट्रीब्यूट किया है। तो ओवास्प टॉप 10 रिस्क और वल्नरेबिलिटीज जो होते हैं, वो मोस्ट ऑफ द
हम्म।
ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फॉलो, चाहे वो इंडिया में हो,
हम्म।
चाहे वो यूएस में हो, चाहे वो यूके में हो, चाहे वो कहीं पे भी हो। तो दैट्स वेरी
हम्म।
नोन। इवन अगर हम एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी टूल्स भी देखते हैं तो भी उसमें ओवास्प टॉप 10 लिस्टेड होता है कि हाँ ये आपको फॉलो करना है। अब ओवास्प टॉप 10, इस पे हम 2 दिन का सेशन भी कर सकते हैं, पर मैं क्या करती हूँ, मैं
हम्म।
तो अगर किसी को भी पढ़ना है तो ओवास्प टॉप 10 अमेजिंग प्रोजेक्ट है फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग वल्नरेबिलिटीज। बट अब कोई बोलेगा कि मुझे तो शुरू करना है एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी में, तो मैं कैसे करूं?
हम्म।
तो मैंने जैसे शुरू किया था, क्योंकि मैंने शुरू के 5 साल नेटवर्क सिक्योरिटी में स्पेंड किए। तो
ओके।
when I was asked in my second organization saying that you have to enter into application security, तो the first thing जो मुझे इंट्रोड्यूस कराया गया एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी में, that was वेब सिक्योरिटी टेस्टिंग गाइड। सो दैट सबसे पहले मुझे बेसिक समझना है कि एक एप्लीकेशन का आर्किटेक्चर क्या होता है, कहाँ
हम्म।
होता है, कहाँ सर्वर होता है, और कहाँ डेटाबेस है या क्या है, इन दोनों के बीच में कम्युनिकेशन। जैसे मैं अभी अपने सिस्टम पे बैठी हूँ और मैं गूगल मीट पे लॉग इन हूँ और मैं आपसे बात कर रही हूँ, तो वो कैसे हो रहा है, कैसे मेरी आवाज आप तक जा रही है, कैसे वो कनेक्शन मेंटेन हो
हम्म।
रहा है। इंटरनेट एक चीज है, बट कुछ तो है ना बीच में, कोई तो कनेक्शन है जिसकी वजह से सिर्फ हम दोनों एक दूसरे से बात कर रहे हैं, या जो
एब्सोल्युटली।
ऐसा नहीं कि कोई और इस रूम से बाहर जाके बात कर रहा है। तो
हम्म।
वो चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। वो बेसिक चीजें भी इस वेब सिक्योरिटी टेस्टिंग गाइड में कवर है।
So, ma'am, when I talk about Gen Z, आजकल जो Gen Z, it's all fun and thrill for them. So they try to delve into these concepts more than ever. So, आप उनके लिए कोई message देना चाहोगे if they're interested to know more about this field or if they're looking forward to build a career in this. So, is there any message you would like to give them and to even refrain since they are more of, like I said, fun and thrill? So, is there any message you would like to give them?
I would just say that you have more energy, more curiosity than probably the old days. So it's better that you invest that energy in the right space. And if you
Mm-hmm.
really want to get into ethical hacking, what we say it, there are so many platforms where you can enroll yourself, whether it's Bugcrowd, whether it's HackerOne, whether it's there are so many other places, but HackerOne, Bugcrowd is something which is very big. You should enroll yourself. And what you will get to see is that there are many organizations who enroll themselves there and let the hackers find vulnerabilities. They actually
Mm-hmm.
say them, so you'll be getting paid to do it. And uh, curiosity is something which is very very important in cybersecurity, and you Gen Z have it. So I'm sure you can find the easiest way to figure out the vulnerabilities in apps. So you totally have it. It's just that you need to understand the basics of it. And that's the best place to start from.
Okay. So, ma'am, when we talk about application development, so what is the future of it in the coming times?
I think it has a very bright future, because when we say application security, it's not just talking about the simple applications, but the new technologies that are coming up. Now we're talking about AI, we're talking about cloud applications.
Mm-hmm.
Applications will be there every day. There are thousands of applications which are getting online, or there are
Mm-hmm.
businesses which are getting online through the website. So absolutely it'll be here to stay. I wouldn't say that it's going to go away anytime sooner. But what even though you'll say that, oh, I will have mobile applications, you'll have applications, you'll need the security for that. And for that, people would have a job for sure. There are tons of jobs which are still vacant, where the right people are needed. So this job is going to stay, this space is going to stay. And only thing is that there'll be enhancements, there'll be new languages, there'll be new techniques, tools that'll come up. But the basics would remain the same.
Ma'am, since you just addressed the job part, so I would like to ask you, and in fact, an advice myself I want as a youngster, that if we people are looking out for opportunities in the job sector in this, so what is that one thing we should be focusing on in terms of finding the job in the application sector or maybe in overall cybersecurity? Because this thing is very trending these days. Like everybody's like, cybersecurity, there are no jobs. We're not getting it. We have studied ample, we've done internships ample, but we're not getting out of it. So as a QA, बस एक neutral point of view, or maybe somewhere we are heading towards wrong. तो ऐसा कुछ अगर आप advice देना चाहो.
आई थिंक आई वुडंट से कि आप लोग कहीं गलत जा रहे हो और यू आर हेडिंग समवेयर रॉन्ग, फॉर श्योर. बट connection is something which is very important. Networking is something which is very important. So connect with the right people. If you, let's say, love about application security or cloud security or IoT security, reach
Mm-hmm.
the right people on LinkedIn. Send a warm connection request. What I mean by warm connection is, send a note that why do you want to be connected with that person, and I'm sure they'll accept your request. And then you can actually share your views, your blogs, your discussions with them. And there are people who actually want to see people who have some kind of knowledge to share. So I would love to get.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, there are many people. um, I think I shamelessly send requests to the people whom I want to get connected, because it's very important. And I cannot just learn everything by myself. That's why we have this
Mm-hmm.
community, we have this conference coming up, whether it's B-Sides, whether it's OWASP, whether it's Black Hat, DEF CON, or any other conference. Like, all of this is connecting people. And very important, we learn from there. And let me tell you, most of the time when I go to a conference, I might not attend all the sessions, because for me it's not possible, or
Mm-hmm.
for anyone. Trust me, it's very, very
Absolutely.
taxing. But
Mm-hmm.
what I do is, I make a lot of connections. I meet a lot of people, whether it's networking area, whether it's during the lunch hours, whether I especially set up
Mm-hmm.
something things early on by putting on LinkedIn that I'll be at Blackhead this year, or I'll be at B-sides Noida, and I would be glad to meet you up. Let's just catch up if you are around for a coffee. So it's about networking where you warm connect, or even when you are attending a session, just asking for speaker's LinkedIn profile so that you can connect with that person after on and say that, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
actually was in your talk and I want to get connected and learn more about such and so topic. So I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing that needs to be done, which I think you all have it already, because I used to be an introvert and now I am becoming an extrovert. And you don't need someone to push you to speak. You're already there. That's good.
Absolutely, ma'am. That's so wonderful to know from your end. I mean, seniors, when they come and tell us this motivational thing, so we actually get uprooted from that. Okay, there's a hope for us. But what is exactly happening right now? In fact, when we people go and apply for certain things, we are being told that, the kind of payment which you will be getting, the kind of payrolls which you'll be getting will be very less right now. So why is that happening, apparently? I mean, because cybersecurity is a very expansive field, very difficult to, in fact, comprehend. It's not an easy system to get into the computers and get to know each and every single data, what's happening. तो ऐसा क्यों है कि payrolls इतने कम है इस चीज में?
Maybe beginning may, it could be one reason, or ho sakta hai, but get your hands dirty, get as much as exposure during the internship. There are so many apps which are there which are vulnerable, um, like they are just built for the testing purpose. Test them. There are so many opportunities where you can be part of some webcast or some podcast, or some books which are written. Read them, because if you have the knowledge, you can ask for the right compensation as well. But if the company has like, okay, for beginners we are only going to give this, then I wouldn't comment on that, to be very honest, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the company standard. There are some companies who are giving really handsome pay to the beginners also. So it
Okay.
depends from organization to organization, and based on your experience as well, or your learning.
So, is there any specific, like, is it just application security? So, example, of course, there are certain fields which under there are divisions, right? So, application security is there, bug bounty is there, penetration testing is there. So, ऐसे कोई fields है specific which you would like to advise to the people who are looking right now on this podcast कि आप इस field को choose करोगे, so maybe that's where you can get some sort of rooting in cybersecurity. This is some high pay because at the end of the day people do come to me and they're like money matters, we have studied, we have done internships, but we're not getting something out of it. So of course money matters, but is there any field specific जो आप recommend करना चाहोगे in cyber only apart from application?
I think everything in cybersecurity pays well. But it's just that your passion matters. I feel so.
Yep.
I've just given you a link for breaking into infosec. So you need to select yourself that which part of cybersecurity or information security you want to move into.
Hmm.
And I don't
Hmm.
think any specific sector pays you well or pays you less. It's I think
Hmm.
everything is amazing in cybersecurity. So I think at least I don't know of any that, oh, this job pays less or this job pays. Even if you are a non-technical person and you're project management or you're part of the report writing part, also you get paid really handsome. So or well.
Ma'am, when I आपने एक चीज बोली अभी इनफैक्ट दैट वाज वेरी इंट्रिगिंग टू मी आपने कहा कि हर सेक्टर में आपको पेमेंट मिलेगा साइबर में इट्स सच अ गुड फील्ड टू वर्क इन व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट टेक टेक में आ गया एप्लीकेशन सिक्योरिटी बग बाउंटी वाला नॉन टेक के बारे में आप क्या कमेंट करना चाहोगे बिकॉज नॉन टेक इज लाइक बेसिकली मार्केटिंग सोशल मीडिया हैंडलिंग और as of now, I myself, I'm into content in cybersecurity. So what is that one thing, which part would you like to recommend the people?
I think project management, or even technical writing is something which is getting big these days, because every
Mm-hmm.
organization needs a technical writer for the blogs. So it's totally amazing to have more and more blog writers who understands the cybersecurity, even if they don't do it, but they actually spend some time on it. So that can be really good. if you start putting efforts in that area. It's just, I believe.
That's that's amazing. Ma'am, आपने एक term use की थी OWASP
Hmm.
in the middle of the conversation. What is that exactly? Because if somebody is looking into cybersecurity and they have no clue, so how would you define OWASP for any person who does not know any information regarding that?
OWASP is World Wide Web Application Security Project. So it's a project. It's a foundation where there are a lot of projects, a lot of chapters around the world, um,
Mm-hmm.
and these projects are related to application security, DevSecOps, cloud, IoT, and there are
Mm-hmm.
standard also which it has built. And it's not just the foundation who has done it, it's the volunteers, the leaders who have done it. It could be you, it could be and I let me tell you, there are so many students who have created projects in OWASP. So I think it's a simple, plain, nice community where people connect with each other and learn from different projects, and even organizations pick up those projects to train their employees.
That's amazing, ma'am. Ma'am, we do, I think, have some certain questions being asked on the YouTube. Can we take that over?
Yeah, yeah, please.
Sure, let's just proceed with that, ma'am. Just take a look at it. Just a second. Also, ma'am, until that time, just one last question I wanted to pop in. In fact, one of the most important cyber crimes हो रहे हैं आजकल लगातार हो रहे हैं उसकी कोई रुकावट नहीं है. I am actually a cyber journalist at this point. I am writing about cybersecurity. So crimes is on an outage. I think I would say that. When I talk about application security specifically, so application security में आप cyber crimes को कैसे explore करोगे? If you have to explain someone, how you can refrain yourself or your organization from being, protected from any sort of damage being done to your system. तो आपका क्या advice रहेगा for anybody?
See, when it comes to application security specifically, then I would say take a look at OWASP Top 10. And in general, if we talk about cyber crimes, then absolutely you should definitely, um, mm, first of all, be very vigilant. There are so many fake calls, fake messages, fake WhatsApp messages which keep coming up. Do not click on the links. Do not give one time passwords to anyone whom you don't know or whom you do not trust. And if something happens, there is a national cyber crime reporting portal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you should definitely refer that. There is a number there you can report. You can actually report a call there, and they do definitely work, because my friend was part of one cyber crime where somebody actually forged around 20K, and he actually got it back. So by reporting it actually makes a difference, even though you might not get money so soon, but then
Mm-hmm.
make efforts, they track down the person. So cybercrime.gov.in is something which you should definitely keep in mind, because it will help you, and not just for cyber crimes but for maybe cyber stalking, or if somebody is teasing you online, it's very important to report it. And people do
Okay.
help, these teams which are part of the police, they really help you.
Ma'am, since you just address, and for the audience who's listening to this, the number is 1930, and we'll just mention in the bio also about this crime reporting portal. I think you guys should be totally going there and reporting it rather than being numb. It's very important for the criminals to come out there, and it just helps the police to catch the culprits easily. So please do get your crimes reported. It's very important to do that as a citizen. And first thing is to definitely not panic. That's something I always tell people. And ma'am, we do have the questions which people have asked. Let's just dive into that if we're okay with it. Okay. Ma'am, so the first question we have is it's Raman. He's asking, how can I enter the cybersecurity field without any certifications?
You can definitely enter into it. There are so many platforms, there are so many tools which are available. Let me give you this link for breaking into infosec. You can just go through the different resources shared by the different SMEs. There are, let's say, if you want to learn more about how you can break into application, then hack in the box is has some really good boxes where you can try or get your hands dirty and try those skills. The vulnerable applications like security shepherd or juice shop from OWASP is a great place to start. Then you can also go ahead and try or register yourself on Bugcrowd and HackerOne, so that you get to have access to the apps which needs the pen test or security testing. So I think when it comes to security certifications, my view is that it's just a gatekeeper. If you have the right knowledge, maybe the first interview it might get you, but after that your knowledge matters. So get your hands dirty, put it in your resume, and make sure you do not blabber too much about it. Whatever you know, post that in your resume, because sometimes recruiter is like, I want to know everything what you've written in your CV.
Hmm.
So it's very important.
Absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, the next question is from Apeksha. She's asking, I'm currently pursuing an MTech in cybersecurity. Do I still need additional certifications or is the MTech degree sufficient?
You do not need even MTech, to be very honest. It's good to have. Uh, in cybersecurity, I've seen people who are journalists. I've seen people who are um,
Ma'am, count me in, please.
who are psychologists, who are police. I've seen lawyers in cybersecurity, so you do not need. But what you want to do, you need to do the basic research around that. Whether it's application
Mhm,
security or not, whether it's network security, whether it's threat hunting, threat modeling, whether it's IoT security, whether it's IIT security, ML ops security, anything. You need to do research. And if you have done your thorough research in that, you get connected with the right people. I think that's all you need. That's all. I feel so.
Ma'am, next question we have from Khyati Tanuja.
Mhm.
She's asking, as I'm new to the field, how can I deal with an imposter syndrome?
Oh, you're new, but I deal with that every day, whether I know it or not. Trust me. Um,
Ma'am, any example you would like to give on this to her?
yeah, absolutely. So after 5 years being into network security, I was asked to be part of uh, application security, and I told my boss that I've never done it, and I don't know how will that happen. I don't know
Mm-hmm,
of application security. So what should I do? The person said, I'll give you 3 months to check out. I'll give you a mentor. So looking for mentor is something which is very important. But then
mm-hmm,
mentoring does not mean they'll spoon feed you. They'll just tell you, you can refer to this, then this, and then you have to further read things. Then you have to come up with questions and ask the relevant questions, because
mm-hmm.
we have so much of information available on the internet. So getting a mentor actually helps you getting through this imposter syndrome. But let me tell you, whether it's you're a beginner or you have 20 years of experience, at some point you get that imposter syndrome. And another story is that when the new vulnerability comes and you start prepping about it, researching about it, and like, oh, how is this happening now? When AI came into picture, everybody was looking through it and like, will I be able to do it? What will happen to it? How will I be able to deal with it? But then there are so many models started to come and started to research and understand about it. So I think it's okay to have imposter syndrome, but making sure that you have that back in the mind that you can do it. There are people to support you. Have right mentors, not just one but multiple mentors. Learn from them. Do not want to, or I would say, do not say that you just want to be like them. You're you. You have different personality, you have different learning capabilities. Maybe you are better than anyone else, but then learn from them and execute what you want to do.
For anyone in the audience who does not know what's an imposter syndrome, it's basically where you're trying to judge yourself at times, or trying to be more competent than the others as usual. You're just trying to feel as if मुझसे नहीं होगा और मैं इसके capable नहीं हूँ अब. तो उसको imposter syndrome कहते हैं. And I think ma'am has tried to completely break it down really well. Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering this. Okay, let's just dive into the next question. Okay, so there is Samiksha. She's asking, what's your view on the importance of mentorship in cybersecurity, especially for women? Wow.
I think we have so many platforms which are available for mentorship for women. But to be very candid about it, I have a lot of mentors who are men also. It's just
Mm-hmm.
respect the bond that you create, and the right kind of questions you ask them. It does not matter whether it's a women or a men, but if you're really comfortable just for the women, then there are so many forums like InfoSec Girls. You have women in cybersecurity. In US you have WISP, which is women in security and privacy. There are many forums who are there, who want to help more diverse candidates, who are there to motivate you and mentor you, so you can join them. And it's just about learning from them and uplifting others.
Absolutely, ma'am. Wonderful. Then we have next question. It's for those interested in leadership roles in cybersecurity. What steps do you recommend they take early on? I think we discussed this, but just since it's a question, let's just go ahead with it.
Can you say it again, please?
For those interested in leadership roles in cybersecurity, what steps do you recommend they take early on?
First of all, when you talk about cybersecurity, you need to understand the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's risk management, whether it's GRC, whether it's application security, you should understand the basics, because a leader is someone who is actually helping out the other people in the team, not just verbally but technically also, and a lot of times motivational. So have empathy, learn the basics, get your basics right from the beginning, so that if, let's say, when you are a leader of some role, or you have some role, you know what you're doing and you are able to help them out. I think that's all you need, and empathy, that if something happens, you're there for them. These
Mm-hmm.
are the two things you need, and there's no rocket science. I've seen people who are in the industry, and in just 5 years they have become CISOs. There are people who've become CISOs after 15 years, because it's a big company, and they both are equally excellent in their own roles. So there's no silver bullet to it, to be very honest. So there's no silver bullet to that.
For the people who are in the audience, CISO is Chief Information Security Officer, and you salute them many multiple times whenever you meet them. So, yeah, the next question is how to find a mentor. I think we've been past this. आपने बोला जो supportive हो, encouraging हो. Okay, so next question is why are communities important? Bravo, even ma'am, I want to ask this. Why are communities important?
Communities are important uh, because they connect you with other people. They connect you with um, different roles. And or let me take my example here. When I was working in my first organization, I didn't know much about communities. When I moved to
Hmm.
Bangalore, somebody one day just met me and told me out of the blue in one of the trainings that we run OWASP Bangalore. Why don't you come and join us, or come for the meetups? That's when I
Mm-hmm.
realized that there is a community. That was my first introduction, and back then in 2012. And over the years I realized that I've overcome my fear of speaking. I've made new connects. I have made friends in the industry. I've learned from other people and their journey. So communities actually grow you personally and professionally both, and that's my take on them.
Okay, that's amazing. We have some person, White Battalion. He's asking, I have BCA. Advanced Diploma in Cyber Defense, and CEH. Wow. And I'm interested in cyber forensic. So, which companies more support to cyber forensics in India?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to name the companies, but I think all the uh, top fours consulting companies do it. Even IBM, I've seen doing, Accenture doing it. So most of the companies do it. It's just that you need to look out for them in LinkedIn or maybe Naukri.com. I wouldn't be able to give you a glimpse of the company names particularly, but most of the big companies have it. And top fours, what we call it as Deloitte, PwC, all of them have it for sure. They have the forensic teams.
Ma'am, then we do have the next question. It comes from Apeksha,
Mhm.
and it's a very interesting question. How can I form a new chapter of InfoSec Girls?
Oh, you need to reach out to me. You have my LinkedIn. Please feel free to drop a note to me. I'll be more than happy to discuss and talk more about it. Reach out to me.
Okay, ma'am. Next question is, how do you prioritize which vulnerabilities to address first when multiple issues are detected in an application?
That's a very good question. So it depends
Exactly.
based on the apps, because there is a vulnerability which could be a critical one for my application but could be a very low severity based on the client facing you have. If it's an internal system, it might be a low or a medium level vulnerability, but if it's a client based system or a system which is there in the production, maybe it could be a critical vulnerability because users have access to it. So it depends from systems to systems. Then I look at the CVSS score, look at the severity, what has been given by the CVSS, and then I actually check out if it applies to my server or not. So there are multiple parameters which are there, and based on that, like we have created a CVSS calculator. Based on that, we define whether it's high severity or medium severity, and whether my application is client facing or not, whether it's on the internet, or whether it's in internal app or external app, or whether it's a crown jewel or not. So there are multiple parameters on that. When you start working, you get to know what applications you're dealing with, what kind of apps those are, whether it's from financial sector or it's a healthcare app, and how much you need to concentrate on that. Then you can define that, oh, this could be a critical vulnerability for the users or for the patients. Then you say, oh, I need to fix it early on. And there are some
Mhm.
apps where you can take some exception and say that we can work, or we can wait for 15 days and then we can work on it. Let's say if the application has to
Mhm.
go live right then and there, and you have a critical vulnerability, and you say that we can buy and have an exception for 15 days or 10 days, then I think that's where you can wait. But depends on app
Mhm.
to app.
Okay. Ma'am, when we talk about cybersecurity specifically, and whenever I see my in even around me in my circle, why is it that women do not belong to this field so much? Why are there such less women in this field, specifically in cybersecurity domain?
So if someone says that women do not belong here, let me tell you, women have a brain where we do multi-threading, and we can be the best
Multi-threading.
multi-threading in our brains. We can connect dots easily.
Oh.
If we want to find out something, the, we would be the best people to work for CBI. I would say that,
Hmm.
because we can connect the dots so easily. So we are built to do it, we're born to do it, and nobody can say that you cannot do it. I think I feel that I belong here. I've been in the space because I felt like this is for me. I can figure out things maybe more easier than other people. So if someone says you can't do it, I'll do it twice for myself, not for them.
Hmm. Nice, ma'am. Ma'am, we have one more question.
Yes.
It's about to end, so we'll just wrap it up with this.
Yeah.
So the question is, what's your view on the recent Star Health breach? Oh, okay. Okay.
Star Health breach. I think I don't want to comment on that.
Might sound controversial. Just a little. Okay, so let's just take the question in a way where we can speak a little on that topic. What exactly happened? I mean, आपका opinion इस चीज पे क्या रहेगा?
Acha. See, first of all, when you talk about these insurance breaches or healthcare breaches, um, it depends that how exactly it started. On the internet, it says that the Star Health and Aligned Insurance actually received um, a ransom demand of
Hmm.
$68,000. That's what they
Hmm.
received, and it was asked to them that, oh, we are going to be leaking your customer data, and
Hmm.
if you do not give us that money, we will just put it on the internet. So this data might they might have got it from, maybe um, from a server, or somebody might have leaked. So it's still
Ma'am,
controversial.
just I'm so sorry to just cut it right there. Just before we proceed to this segment, can we just give a little glimpse to the audience? What exactly is this? Because Star Health data breach, I don't know if people would be a little aware regarding it.
So that's why I said that most of the people think that, oh, we are talking about a breach. But if I say that it's in very simple terms, there was an insurance company which for which the data got breached. Now, what data? It was about the health insurance of different people, their names, their email addresses, their phone numbers, their insurance numbers, all that data. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that the data leak was surfaced on Telegram, and then the and then the Star Alliance team, or Star Health team, they said that they became victim of cyber attack, and their operations remain unaffected. Like, they'll just be running it, and attacker, when the person got the data, send them an information saying that, now I have your data. If you do not give me this money, I will make it public. And that's what happened. Like,
Wow.
this is what I understood, but then there are multiple stories to it, and what has happened
हाँ
was
जी,
still, I think they're still investigating. And
हाँ
that's why I
जी.
said that I don't want to comment on that, because every company has their own story, and they try and make sure that they come back strong from that. So I'm sure they would they every company wants to do their best to secure their data, and especially with healthcare sector, they really do strive hard. But these kind of mishappenings happened, and there are people specifically targeting such organizations. So I wouldn't just comment on saying that their security was low, this and that. Happened. They're
तो
trying to
मैम
recover.
जिस आपने एक चीज बोली कि आप सारे सिक्योरिटी मेजर्स लो किसी भी कंपनी में आप कुछ भी हो एग्जांपल हम लाइक राइट नाउ वी आर इन बिसाइड्स पॉडकास्ट
Right.
somebody bumps into our system god forbid not so but we are taking every security and preventive measure to protect our system so what is that which goes wrong कि like तब भी system hack हो जाता है example I'll take the biggest example apparently अभी रणवीर सिंह शो था right they got a big bumper. And it was basically logged in from the US elections. उस आदमी ने तो अच्छे खासे like he would have got the earnings. But his whole system got flawed. And of course, luckily he got the data back because YouTube, of course, has a backend in the system. But why is it that they had all security measures, every single thing in their system to protect themselves, yet they got hacked? What is your take on that?
Oh, it's very simple. When you are on internet, you are never 100% secure, because there must be someone who will be looking out to find one flaw, and whether
Hmm.
it's to report it to the team, report it to the vendor or the web application team, or to just make the most out of it. So it depends. So when you are putting your data, your pictures, your content out there, remember,
Hmm.
you are there out, and you can never be saying that, oh, I've done everything and I'll be 100%. No, even I can't say it. There are people who are looking out for the data, and maybe my password dump is lying somewhere. Somebody might have got my LinkedIn passwords or Facebook password from some leak, and it might be lying somewhere. So I wouldn't say that. So this is something inevitable. These things will happen because you're on internet. It's just that how you come back strong from that is the most important part.
Mm.
So I wouldn't say that you are always secure. There are new technologies, new updates which are coming up. Sometimes even a secure system after an update become insecure. So how would you say that?
So, ma'am, what's the point of having a protective system in that case when we are anyway in probably in that sort of a place कि हाँ हमें भी कुछ हो सकता है
Then don't do it.
मतलब
Then shut down the system, disconnect from internet.
so basically the point is in short जैसे आपने अभी समझाया कि when you're on the net you are anyway going to get affected in any case अगर आप अपना system protect कर भी रहे हो that's the crux.
Yeah, see, there's so much that you can do. You have the best of security team, you have the best of everything. But if a new technology comes, new attack comes, what will you do? You'll just update your system. You'll just work on the on working on updating that system or patching that system. That's the only thing you can do. But if a hack happens, um, then you have to recover from that, right? And
Hmm.
sometimes that you forget to turn off certain port, or your user from their own ID is able to play around into your system. So it's just that sometimes the basic things make up to a breach. So you can't just guess it whether it's your data or how you're going to be handling it. So I wouldn't say that when I'm on internet my pictures are 100% secure. It has happened to me during pandemic where uh, I updated my pictures on the internet back in 2015-16, when I was very happy that I'm traveling, this and that. And
Mm-hmm.
suddenly it hit me that no, I shouldn't be putting too much of pictures. I removed it. But during pandemic, one of my friend shared a picture of mine which I deleted long back, and I realized that when you are on internet, you share anything that'll be there in the archives forever. So what would you do?
Absolutely.
So whatever you post, think before posting. And when an organization is putting its website on the internet, which means they want to do business, and they understand everything now, especially now that they're becoming very cyber aware. They're doing their best to
Mm-hmm.
secure themselves, but still there are tips and tricks which keep happening. So you don't have a control over that.
Just like आपने अभी कहा archives में जाती है so something very sensitive RG कर case happened recently and the girl's pictures was all on social media and
Mhm.
it was Supreme Court's verdict to take it off the internet yet it was not taken off. So will it never go out of the social media handles or is there any other way to get it out of it?
Hmm. Can you repeat your question again?
So, example, the RGK case victim, she was having her pictures lathered all over the social media, which was, of course, very insensitive to do. But the Supreme Court's verdict was to take it off on social media handles. So, why is it that the social media handles have still not taken out? Of course, if they have still not taken out, is there any other way कि वो चीज़ हम हटा सकते हैं from the social media handles wherever the picture is probably available?
Yeah, if it's Twitter or Instagram has all the right to disable their account. And if it's from the legal, it depends from countries to countries law. They can do it. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
ask court to give you personal chats, they might not give because they're encrypted. But when it comes to taking down pictures, I think court can give verdict, and Instagram may choose to adhere to it as well, or
Hmm.
they might have to do it. So they can bring down any let's say I've seen there are many channels or there are many handles which have got disabled because they were not complying to the policy. So I think they can do it. They have all the authority to do it. We can only report it, and then they have to take action. We can't do anything about it. It's the team, it's the app owner, or the team who are managing it. They can do it.
Hmm. Absolutely, ma'am. I just asked this question because if it happens to any of the victims in the future, touch would not. So कोई possibility रहती है कि वो उनका like system से हट सकता है नहीं हट सकता. That's why I just ask a basic question. Okay, so I think, ma'am, that's it for today. It was great having you on our show. Podcast was really fun, and thank you so much for giving us so much of awareness about the concepts, tricks, do's, and don'ts, what to do, what not to do. And I personally had one of the best podcasts until today. And to the audience, thank you so much for staying tuned in. And of course, stay tuned in for other podcast episodes as well. So we'll give a wrap to the episode number 3 today. And thank you so much, ma'am. Anything you would like to tell the audience as a wrap up?
Thank you so much, everyone. I'm sure you all have a lot of stories to share. I would love to get connected with you on LinkedIn or Twitter. And if you would like to share your stories, or if you like something, please do connect with me. I'll be more than happy to chat with you. Thank you.
Please follow ma'am on LinkedIn or wherever you want to get in touch with her. She'll be more than happy answering your questions. And thank you, ma'am. And until the next time, stay updated, guys. Stay safe. Be cyber safe. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.